Okay. So I don't know how long we know each other. No, it's a big thing on LinkedIn, right? But when I first met you, I don't know when it was, but it has been a while ago. So my first question is, how and when did you get the idea to start on LinkedIn, create these visuals, or what was first, creating visuals, then LinkedIn? How did this all start?
That's a fun story. Actually, I first started when the story long time ago was when I did a program at IMD, which is called Disruptive Innovation. And there was a professor who's an amazing person, who's Bill Fisher. And he had an article which was called Selfish Tweeting. And you can find it online. It's written on Forbes. It's like selfish tweeting. And I love how he explained it, because he said, I don't tweet for others. I tweet for myself to have my mind clear, to know what I like, to distill my ideas. So it's selfish in this sense because it serves me. And at the same time, if someone likes it, if someone connects with that and is useful, it's great. But if not, it's for me. And this is I think is a brilliant way to put it because you don't do it for external validation. You do it for clear in your mind to be sure of what you like and sharing it, of course. And then there is a second benefit, is that when people see the things that you put out and they like it, probably someone will reach out or will comment something, and you will see that you have something in common, and then you start a conversation. So this is the beautiful part of the process. And one of the most satisfying things is when I see that I put out something and a person adds something to that, and then I write it and I take it for my next time that I'm going to talk about this, or I incorporate it into my own thinking. And this is great because I could have never found all these things all by myself. And this is the most exciting part. And this combines with one more thing, with the illustration. So I first started to sharing sporadically things about innovation, about management, and this was actually a challenge. There was a challenge in the IMD course, which was to tweet once a day. So he invited us to tweet and to start conversations. So this was the original idea. It was not like, oh, what I'm going to do. It was very uncomfortable, actually. And to say, oh, what's going to say? And I was not at all into social media. I thought that at the time it was more like self-promotion than anything else. I said, well, I have to do that. It's a waste of time. And then this experience changed a little my perception. And so the last part with the visuals is that, of course, in Twitter, Janis Osolins, he's an amazing and brilliant illustrator. And I started to follow him, and I appreciate a lot the work that he did, the ability of simplifying the complex things. On his journey was very exciting. And as a way to support him, once in a while, I bought one of his NFT in all the NFT craze period, when NFT were actually worth money, most of them. And I reached out to him and said, hey, Janis, I bought your NFT. It's a way to support you. Great work. And he said, oh, yeah, Roberto, do you want to have access to the course too? And I said, yeah, the course. Yeah, I have a course to explain the idea visually, and all of the people who buys an NFT are going to get it. And I said, okay, why not? So I tried it, and then I started to play with my daughter more as a game than anything else. And then fast forward, now my daughter is not playing anymore with that. She's my consultant, and veto. She has veto on my illustration sometimes. She said, no, I don't like this, daddy. Okay, another one. And so 2 years after, and this is almost, it's not a daily habit, but I try to do something every week. And I try to keep it as a game more than a a chore. So, for example, today just today, I put the 10 illustration on management. There was one was the horror bingo from management, which was from Halloween. And one person said, "Oh, I had the bullshit bingo," and I said, "Oh, I love that. I will do that." And I put it in the backlogs for Sunday. So this is a story, as you see, the same. I share something, someone comments, I incorporate, and then keeps going. Long
So
answer.
you even started on Twitter.
Yeah, I
Are
started.
you still on Twitter?
Yes, I just do on Twitter. I do just illustration. I use Twitter and Instagram mainly for illustration. At the same time, where I see the real connection and more depth at this moment is LinkedIn. So I'm very much more focused on LinkedIn as a way to connect with people and to have conversation. And Twitter and Instagram have different. It's different. It's good. It's a way to. It's more like a way to show all your work and to see other people work more than having conversation. At least for me.
So you started because of this challenge with your professor, and you just played it as a game. But was there at any point that you felt like, this is not picking up why I'm doing this? I don't feel like doing this anyway. No one is seeing this.
Well, I admit that in the beginning, when you don't know if people will like the things you do, so you always think, oh, okay, this is good, this is not. But in the end, you think, I like this, I'm having fun. And also, one of the more interesting things is that when you have a community, for example, in the course where, and Janice and PJ also do the same, it's a group, and in the group, you get feedback from each other. So your motivation is not for the end result, it's to learn the process. So as long as you are learning, you are giving feedback to other people, you get feedback, you're improving. So who cares about the results in the short term? And what I saw is that most of the time, people who do this kind of thing for a long time and they're really into it and they like it, sooner or later the results come if you don't look for the results. Again, I'm taking the example of PJ Milani, which is another amazing illustrator. And in the conversation I had with him, I remember this moment when he posted one of his carousel from 1 year ago. It was exactly 1 year ago when we started. It was exactly the same. But from one moment to the other, something happened. Mr. Algorithm said that it was good, and it was good 1 year ago. It was the same good as it was now. And then boom, from one day to the other, he passed from 20 to 40 followers. Does that mean that he's better than the day before? No, he's the same. So this is the idea that you do it for yourself, you do it for sharing this idea and for getting more inspiration. And then if someone likes it, it's good. And if not, it's also good.
I find that really interesting. I mean, I know you now maybe a bit better than the typical LinkedIn relationship where you just see something of people, but there must be something in you that you have this drive to still do it besides no one is watching, just because you want to share it and you feel like doing this.
Yes. And it's like when you spend the time to share something, to summarize, and to write it, you learn it much better. So it's a way to learn and to, let's see, integrate more all these things. So this is a real value. It comes much more easy when you're talking about something 1 year or 2 years. All the ideas come much easier into place. That's the value for me.
Do you still do it for your own learning, or is now something that you look at your number of followers? I think on Instagram it's even more. Until now, I didn't know you were on Twitter too. When I look at it from the outside, I think like, wow, coming also from the marketing, this is where people start to say, wow, we give him money to do stuff for us. So is this now that you look at it differently, that you have all these followers?
That's a great question. I think what's different now is that I have more impact and access to opportunities that I didn't have 2 years ago. So this is definitely something of value. And at the same time, I would like to, an idea is like the difference between promoting oneself and promoting an idea. This is something that I really believe. When I think that I put stuff out there, of course I have to promote, but I don't. At least I try. You will judge, of course. This comes from a place that I really believe that I'm not promoting myself, but I'm promoting the idea I believe in. And then a way to promote this idea that I believe in is to have the biggest reach possible within the people that cares about this. So this is why I don't try to go viral as whatever it costs, because this will take off on one side the fun, and then the validation would be, is it viral, is it not viral? So I don't want the value coming from how many impressions or whatever it has. So this, I think this is the trap. And this is delicate balance, of course, because of course, when you see that the people like what you put, you say, okay, you get some external validation, and then you have the internal validation, which is, I like to do it. And it can reinforce each other, of course, because you see the impact. But at the same time, I think I have to be very mindful of this point. That if I'm promoting myself, I'm promoting an idea, and what's the goal of promoting an idea? Because I think, for example, with coaching, which is something that I love, and I always say, what I want for myself, I'm wanting for the world. So everyone who I talk to, I explain the beauty of being a coach, of how amazing it is, and how you grow by being yourself a coach, and all these things. So I try to approach everything, but from this same perspective.
And with this impact also comes a big responsibility. Do you feel it sometimes heavy on your shoulders?
No, no, it's just for fun. Okay, there is one thing, which is not always the same. The responsibility is of being respectful of the time of the people. So when I put something outside, I want to respect the people, the time of the people. I don't want to waste time, because imagine I put an article and 1,000 people spend 1 minute. How much time is that? It's a lot of time. So I would like to put out and share things that if someone else did it, I would love to see it. So this is my only responsibility, to be always sure that I'm doing this and this is genuinely interesting, and it would be also for me more than anything else.
It's so beautiful. Wow. And again, we are there. You're really special, Roberto. Wow.
Thank you.
Say that. So you said that you have a bigger idea and you have a goal. What is your goal as Roberto?
Oh, that's a $1 million question.
I didn't ask for your purpose. Let's do it smaller.
Well, actually, it's I think it's really connected, of course, to purpose, which is not a concrete idea, which would be changing every day, but it's more like my definition of purpose, or of my life purpose, let's say in this coactive way, is that I'm the energy that connects with you and multiplies your impact. So it's everything about having the biggest impact possible and connecting with people and learning and growing. And this can be 1,000 things at the same time, which brings me also to the challenges, because there are so many ways to have impact, so many ways to connect, so many opportunities, and we have to be very focused at the same time on 1, 2, 3 most things, but at the same time be open, because there are always opportunities and you cannot close everything at the same time. So this is the struggle between being focused on priorities, but at the same time looking at the side and what comes out and taking note, putting in the backlog, and then check it again.
Because your day also only has 24 hours, right?
Yes. And my family is very generous, of course. And
Yeah. I mean, also in this live with PJ, you mentioned how, or he even mentioned how structured you are to put all this into your 24 hours and having a family.
yeah,
Wow.
I try to involve them as much as I can. That's a way, so they see that we share. Yesterday, I did a drawing of the. Actually, it's a beautiful image. You know the stone of Vaiana, the movie Moana from.
It's a Disney movie?
Yeah, it's a Disney
I have
movie.
no clue.
Okay, there is this girl who um, has a stone which is the heart of a goddess, and it was stolen. And there is a scene in the movie where she puts again the stone into the carapace of lava, which is all black. She puts the stone here, which is the heart of the Fiti, and from the stone all the energy comes out. And so I use this metaphor for the impact that I would like to have. And then I draw it with my daughter, and she said, "Oh, this is from Moana. Oh yes, Valentina, do you like this? Oh no, a little bit greener, a little bit darker," and we did it together, and it was beautiful.
How old is she?
8.
Nice. So she can also use already Affinity and draw along with you?
Oh yes, yes. She did it a
Wow.
little bit different than I, but she does.
So she will be the next star on Instagram or whatever it will be. So do you call yourself successful when it comes to what you do with the visuals? To stick to that for the first.
I think again the definition of success is subjective, and it has to depend on what I feel. So if I think of I'm having fun, I'm learning, I'm discovering new things, of course this is successful, because it's something that helps me and it sums. So this would be, I think, a good definition. And it's also what I like about is that it's an internal definition. What's for me, and perhaps it's not successful for other person, but it has to make sense for me.
Yeah.
And of course, this is very easy to say, and sometimes also in our daily work, and we need sometimes we want also to have external validation, and this is also very tricky. Not only in communication, but everywhere. We want to be liked. We want people to appreciate us, to see our effort. It's easy to be here and say, "Oh yes, my only definition of value depends on me." Of course, I'm human, and sometimes I also think about, so this helps me to remind me of this, the importance of this, despite the fact that sometimes things happen and you say, what I'm thinking, and then you go back to the light side.
But that's interesting that you bring this up. I mean, I'm now asking this question, which I didn't ask you explicitly. I didn't ask you what means success to you in general, just on the purpose of your visuals. I asked this every guest in my podcast. And it's fair to say everyone comes up with, it means to be, now I have to translate it in my head because it's all in German, to do what I really want to do, to live my purpose, to be effective, and all these things. And you're saying, yes, that's the same for you when you want to play and learn on LinkedIn and doing your visuals, but there's also the other side of it, which is like getting the acknowledgement for this. And well, yes, we don't want to have this, but we all have it, obviously. That's the nature of humans.
Yes, and that's also somehow, I like how we put it, it's somehow a measure of the impact that you have. If you don't have any acknowledgement, if you don't see the result, sometimes you see what's the impact. So this can be a struggle, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more we focus on ourselves, the better. And I like to think that the result is a consequence and that you have to trust the process. Sorry, Nadine, there is
Yeah,
someone
it's
in the
fine.
door. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
just one moment.
Yeah.
I'm pausing. Okay, these were my daughter and my son Luca coming in, and so we can maybe you can meet them now. I thought that I had the key, so let's close the parentheses. That was fun.
Okay, we talked about the impact, and we need to have an impact. And I really find this interesting because I also find it so important. It's one thing to do something because we believe in it, because we find it important for ourselves. But yeah, we are not living in this continuum just for us. There are other people.
Yes, yes.
So then we are going back to being famous. Is it important or not?
Yeah, we go. I guess we go back to what's the mean and what's the end. The mean to having an impact is reaching more people. It's not the end.
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
Okay. Good. So there's high life in the kitchen now.
Yeah, I think they're playing out there. I know.
It's okay. We can also stop here.
No, but they're with someone. They're not alone.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Don't worry.
So the bigger the audience we have, obviously only the audience which really is into what we are doing and is also into what we aim to do. Like for you, you said you want to grow and learn from another. So if this is your audience and then this audience is growing, yes, then you become more successful by becoming more famous. I'm now taking some notes.
Yeah, and I can connect to more people who likes these kind of things and have more inspiration from them also.
Yeah.
And take, for example, the illustration. The more people who's doing this, the more inspiration I also get for myself, and we build on each other. So it's all part of this, I think.
Yeah. Okay, then one last question. What is your next goal now that you have this audience? Or maybe something totally different. I don't know.
Well, and I would like perhaps to separate this from the communication part, which is something more broader. What I see is that from one side, working in a big company is a great way to see how things work, to see how relationships work, to see how transformation projects work, how innovation and all these things. At the same time, I see a huge value in coaching, in developing relationship, and it's something that I would say like, what's can be a word? Or humanizing more the organization. So there is this kind of, it's not tension, it's like complement. There is technology, we need to be every time faster, and there are a lot of things that you see, of course, with AI and all these kind of things. At the same time, I see a need for deeper relationships inside organizations and for better connection and understanding who the other person is at the other side and finding common ground, and then from this growing and taking advantage of these technologies and building stuff. So, and in this, The communication part is again a way to reach more people, a way to connect and to get different experiences. So what I would love as a say ideal vision is to connect these things, the part from projects, from transformation projects, from innovation projects, the part from coaching and connecting with people, and the broad access that you have to ideas and to experiences in different domains or different industries, but at the same time they can connect with what you're doing. And this again as a way to have a better impact. And with this better impact, learn more. And so the next time you can have an even bigger impact. So this would be my way to see what could be the next step. Combine it all together.
So it's a very broad vision you have.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. And we will see this on LinkedIn too? Or is this something you do offside of LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn, or I just say LinkedIn, all these social media channels, is just where you live one part of your vision and the rest you keep somewhere else?
Well, I think there is a certain connection because all the things that we share, that I share, are part from my experience also. So even if I'm not, and I will not, of course, discuss anything from my day to day because it's of course one thing is job, one thing is what you share, but if it comes from a place of experience and from living this situation, it's of course it's there. And also when I interact in this community, I can also get other idea, and then I remember something that, oh, I was in the meeting, and then I remember something that a person said to me. So it's connected. As we discussed, probably remember in the Management 3.0 conversation, the external inspiration, the internal inspiration, the community of practice. I don't see a neat separation because we have similar experience. We live in a very interconnected world, and even if our day-to-day is not exactly the same, our experiences are very similar. We are managing people, we're managing projects, we are in conflict, have to devise new ways to do stuff, and these are always the same. You can do banking, you can do retail, you can do wholesale, commerce, but the people are the same and the struggles are always the same. And also that the good part is that you can learn from other people in similar role but completely different. And this is the beauty of this type of community also.
Yeah. Very last question, bottom line. Do you feel at least a bit famous?
The famous, okay. What's famous again? That's the definition. I feel
it's different to being successful.
what I feel is that I feel that I have the privilege to connect with people that I admire, and if this is famous, amazing. That's what I really like, and that's the most satisfying part.
Okay, thank you. Actually, because there's always someone we look up to. And I bet there are hundreds of people out there who look up to you, seeing what you're doing, and they're thinking like, one day when I grow up, I want to be like Roberto. So if you call it admire or being famous, for me, this is comparable. Usually when we are saying famous, we refer to actors, singers. Shakira is famous, yeah. But yeah, I think you're famous.
Well, I would add one thing that it's taken from the coactive part, which is to believe that people are complete, full of resources and whole by default. So you don't need to be famous to do that. You just need to express yourself and to express what you like. And everyone has his or her own version. So it's again who we are, who we want to be, what we want to express, and that's it. This is how I see it.
It's totally fine. And I'm not saying that famous people are better than the non-famous people. Very important distinction. I'm not saying that Shakira is better than me. I don't even know her. But she's famous because she has an impact. She has a reach. Who doesn't know Shakira?
Yeah, exactly. That's again the mean for having a
Yeah.
bigger impact.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I love this idea. Thank you, Nadine, for also
Thank you.
helping me to give it more shape. Thanks.
Thank you, Roberto.